So, Misa, could you tell us a little bit more about the ceremonies? I mean, what I experienced is that we're doing ceremonies, a morning ceremony, a nighttime ceremony, and some different things throughout the day. I mean, the whole week was so full. Could you tell us a little bit about your intention behind the ceremonies, or what everyone might gain from them?
It's traditional to greet the day. It's a beautiful way to start. And so we begin in the morning at the sacred fire and at the circle, singing and offering our prayers for ourselves, for others, kind of whoever's coming. We also engage in a dance of enlightenment. This is very simple, very similar to Tai Chi or Qigong, something like that, where we're learning how to be with the energy of the directions and the elements and how they work together. And of course we discover these precious little moments as we're doing it, like speaking about the hummingbird medicine of the north and the hummingbird flying, from the north over the sacred fire, and you go, oh, I get it.
We just had a little fly medicine on the front of this camera at the very beginning. This little fuzzed out thing was a fly sitting on the, wanting to be seen.
Wanting to be part of the energy, absolutely. So these very precious moments happen when we're in circle doing ceremony outside. It's not that the ceremonies are complex, it's that our hearts are opening, and each day you get to see that flowering and blossoming of your heart open at that morning circle. We tend fire 24 hours a day, 7 days, for our prayers. For our questers who are out sitting on the land with their prayers for us and for humanity. And we're holding prayers for humanity, for ourselves, for the earth, 24 hours a day. So there's tremendous serenity and peace that comes from that meditation time as you're sitting with the fire. And again, what you're learning about the elements and our connection to the elements, to our thoughts, because the fire is responding to all of it. Like last night, you remember Jeffrey said something about tipping off the fire to you for, it was an odd comment, but it was an acknowledgement of another, and the fire just tipped completely at that moment.
Perfect timing.
These beautiful,
and we laughed.
Yeah, we did, because you get the connection. You really get it, that it's real. And that's what the ceremonies are intended to help us experience, that full and complete connection with the mother, with each other, with the spirits, with the ancestors, that we're not as separate, really, as the illusion that we live in most of the time. And at night, the talking circle is just, for me, one of the most profound ceremonies, because we get to our truths, our really deep truths. We've been goofing off and laughing all day long and telling jokes, and our breakfast conversations are great fun, and our meals are wonderful, and we're a lot irreverent. And then there's talking circle, and now you sink in to the really deep, profound truths of who you are and what you're experiencing. And it helps just anchor it in to who we are. The sharing of dreams, which isn't exactly a ceremony, but is very much a part of our daily routine. What are you dreaming, and what are you experiencing in the nighttime, the other part of the illusion that we live in? And what does that inform us about this part of the illusion that we live in? And so that's a sweetness that comes with it. And then, of course, Friday, our big day with the naming ceremony and the divine reunion, where we bring consciousness to our sacred masculine and sacred feminine in prayer, where we bring peace to the planet through our hearts. Many initiations, and those rites of passages vary from year to year depending upon whether we have an elder or we have an individual wanting to seek more sense of their life purpose, or we have a young one who's coming into her womanhood, and there's a menses ceremony. Whatever it is, whatever we need, this is the family that comes together to hold that initiation in that sacred space for greater awakening.
So someone who might be interested in coming to SpiritQuest, could you speak a little bit about their individuality? It sounds like that they'd be able to ask for a certain ceremony for themselves in some way, or ask to quest. So not everyone quests at SpiritQuest. We only have, this year we had 2 questers. Well, then there ended up being a third. And then the rest of the camp supported them. Could you speak to that just a little bit more?
Oh, yeah. If someone wants to quest or they want a rite of passage that involves questing, we prepare about 9 months ahead of time. I ask everyone to make their commitments in September. And I've learned over the years it's really best if someone comes to quest first and experiences what's happening here, so you kind of have a sense of what, not what specifically will happen for you, but the process and its unfolding. And then prepare for a quest. And we prepare for that 9 months with creating prayer ties and meditations and journaling and discussions. As one of our questers said this year, she needed that entire time to prepare for this opening that would occur. And our lives, we're questing all our lives. When you bring it into ceremony and you bring it into ritual, you're creating a focal point that drives your life force energy into this moment so that you can open much more broadly than you have so far, broadened, expanded, or just it's awareness. You're not really doing anything, it's that your awareness is shifting. So that's the questing process, but we also have rites of passage, for example, for elders who just want to be acknowledged for everything they've done. And so we honor them at the sacred fire. We've had honoring ceremonies for our men who had never been acknowledged by women. So there are many ways in which individuals can ask for and receive acknowledgement or support in some area of their life that maybe we don't have a ceremony for. And also we create them in the moment. If I know there's a need within the camp, then we take it to the sacred fire and we respond right then and there to what wants to be opened within us.
And so you're also seeking guidance all the time from Spirit.
Yeah, there is no way I could do this alone. We have many ancestors that come and hold space for us, and they whisper in my ear from time to time as I'm waking up so that I'm in tune with what's next. My elder can't travel, but she arrives. You know, she's here in spirit and watching over me and holding me accountable, which is very important, and I want it to be held accountable so that what we do here is truly good and right for each individual, and I'm not in my ego. I don't want to live there. I don't need to live there. So she helps me remember to stay in my heart and stay in my truth, and so do all these beautiful spirits that come to support us.
Yeah, so what I've experienced is it's just what comes through you just feels right. It just feels like truth. It feels like the solutions to what we're seeking at the moment. You just, might be the most minor of things, but I see you checking in and then speak something that's so wise. Yet, and I know it sounds sort of like a cliche to talk about ancient wisdom, but that's just what it feels like. It feels like that it's ancient wisdom that has survived the ages, but that we don't get quite enough of, but it seems to speak through you.
Well, it's that wisdom that comes from generation to generation to generation, as we were talking about yesterday. Our ancestors loved us enough to do their work, their spiritual work, and create a greater consciousness for us. And when we do our work and we listen to their wisdom, and then we do our work and we create greater consciousness for humanity, then that's the gift we give to our children and our children's children. And so we love them enough, our future generations, to do that inner work. And that's the wisdom, is the passing it on through. Because sometimes we get overwhelmed. We feel like we're alone. We've been called to these great tasks. How am I ever going to do it? And make ourselves sick.
And it often feels that way most of the time.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you feel overwhelmed. But, what our ancestors did was their best. They didn't know either. And they did their best. And then they ask us to do the same. And so we do our best, and we hand that to our children and ask them to do the same. Do your best. And we're here for you. I'll be here for you, sweetie. I'll be here for you right here while I'm alive, and I'll be here for you when I cross over. And that's what our ancestors are. I mean, it's my mother
sweet.
that comes. It's the old ones from, the Jolli traditions that come. The sacred path of the feminine come.
So what can you tell us about the Jolli? Because I'd never heard that name until studying under you.
Well, Jolli is the way that my elder taught me. We say Cherokee.
Oh.
So it's the same tribe.
Oh, I see.
It's exactly the
I thought
same
it was
tribe.
a group with the umbrella of Cherokee.
No, it's the tribe itself.
Oh, okay.
Which means the real people.
Okay.
And I was very blessed when my sound medicine started to emerge, and I was feeling lost and scared, and what do I do with this? And my elder found me and called me into her circle and began to teach me about my medicine and ceremony. I didn't know, but she saw it. See, that's the gift we can give each other, and that's what she gave to me, is that ability to see another in their suchness and see the gifts that are longing to come forward and nurture them. So she did, and taught me several ceremonies that I now get to share here.
Oh, it's so beautiful. So one last question. For someone who's interested in SpiritQuest, but they don't really know about the ceremonies, they don't know that they need anything in particular, are they welcome to just come, just attend and be a part of the whole experience without having any idea about anything?
That's a great question. It's such a good question, and the answer is yes. I've had people from all kinds of spiritual traditions, cultures, different kinds of beliefs and experiences just come and be. And what we found is that usually very quickly they realize that their hearts have drawn them to family. We might have different practices at home, but when we come together and we just agree for a week to do these spiritual practices together, what we really discover is that we're kin. We're brothers and sisters in our hearts. And we've had a longing to know what it is to live in family in a sacred and good way, and to be able to transcend the wounds that many of us have grown up with. So, people have come and spent a week and just been able to discover what is there for them. I don't have any rules about you have to pray in a native way, or you have to pray to grandfather, or must do it in some prescribed manner. I just ask you to come with an open heart and honor the traditions for a week, try them on, and connect with Spirit, God, the universe, Creator, Goddess, Source, the way. Whatever this incredible limitlessness is that you touch in some way, to come and experience it, open your heart, and allow yourself to receive the gifts that you've been longing to receive.
Thank you so much for your time today, Misa.
Thank you.
All right, blessings.